when you've never experienced your psychic abilities before and you start training them, it's like needing to tune to the right radio channel. And when you hear this, like, and you keep searching for the right channel, and suddenly the music starts to play. It's the same with your psychic abilities. Welcome to the Seeing in the Dark podcast, the podcast for new ways of leading and doing business. No more separation between money, power, and leadership, and being a deeply spiritual human being. Seeing in the Dark is about walking paths that have not been walked before and truly making a change in a world in which old ways are crumbling. My name is Nicole Nima Costeres, CEO of a multiple six-figure soul-based business, and here to take you into the mysteries of purpose, power, intuition, and soul-based leadership. May you embody your own unique essence so deeply that your vibration naturally teaches, inspires, and assists others. Let's dive in. Today, I want to share with you about 10 things that you should know about your psychic abilities. You might know or you might not that I've been studying for well over 3 years in the modality of evidence-based mediumship, and this has been almost 10 years ago. So for the last 10 years, I've been diving deep into the realms of psychic abilities, mediumship, working one-on-one, offering trainings in that, but also offering programs where I teach women on how to cultivate their psychic abilities and how to utilize professional readings for their clients and future clients. So today I want to share with you 10 things that you should know about your psychic abilities that also are touching upon some misconceptions that we can have around the power of our psychic senses. Now, if you are watching, you might think, wow, Nicole, her altar is getting bigger and bigger each week. If you're listening, you can check out the video. It's true. I feel this space is filling up every week more and more. My altar is expanding and expanding. And usually I love to have more clearer spaces as a background, but it's my altar. You can see it, enjoy it, or maybe you don't. It's all good. Let's dive in. So, the number one thing I want you to know about your psychic abilities is that you don't have intuition. You are intuition. And why I love saying this is because your intuitive nature is a natural part of who you are, right? And many of us we didn't grow up with our parents or our schools or our other teachers explaining and teaching us about the power of our intuition that is already naturally within us. Right. So one of the first things I always say is you don't have intuition as like a tool somewhere hanging around. You are a deeply intuitive being. And so when I go to number 2, this links into you being a deeply intuitive being is that it is very normal that you sense and that you feel emotions and energies from other people's and other realms. Because you are a deeply intuitive being, it's really normal that you feel these things, right? I sometimes have women in my programs and they feel overwhelmed by everything that they're sensing. And there is like thousands and thousands of websites for highly sensitive people. I believe that this is a natural part of our constellation of who we are, that it's natural to be this sensitive. However, because nobody has trained us or educated us on how we can deal with that sensitivity, it can become a blockage. So this is also one of the things I'm teaching in my programs is how to learn to understand, first of all, better how your psychic abilities, how your psychic senses work, and all the things that you are picking up on so that your body can ease into it and find a more supportive way in this immense sensitivity that many of us have. Right. So, number one, know that you are a deeply intuitive being. You are intuition. And number two, know that it's normal to pick up on energies and emotions from other people and other realms. Now, of course, there is a whole set of things that you can do to take care of your body in that sensitivity, which is another episode, and we're not going to dive into that today. But I want to talk with you about the 6 psychic senses that you have, because that's number 3. I want you to know about your psychic abilities is that you have 6 psychic senses. Yeah. Number 1 is clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is the psychic seeing. It's where you pick up on images, where you maybe see colors, and all of this happens in your mind's eye, so to speak. So there is a whole episode that we can link here below. It's called Your 6 Psychic Senses. I will give you an experience of each of your 6 psychic senses. So if you want to experience them, you just find the link below to episode 24, Your 6 Psychic Senses. But your psychic senses are the senses that sense the invisible, so to speak. So it's not me sensing this table here, right here in my office, but it's through our mind's eye, we psychically pick up on images. We psychically pick up on colors through our clairvoyance, our psychic seeing, right? Psychic hearing is one where we psychically pick up on any sounds or words. Psychic sensing is where we psychically pick up on emotions or feelings or sensations. It's also when you walk into a room and immediately you can sense the vibe in the room, right? It's where your psychic sense or your clairsentience is picking up on the vibration in that space or picking up on the emotions of the person that you're talking to right now. All of that happens through your clairsentience. So the 4th psychic sense is the claircognizance, which is the psychic knowing. It's where you not really see anything, you don't really feel anything, you don't really hear anything, you just know. You just know it. Okay. 5th one, clairgustance, is the psychic tasting. So it's sometimes when I offer a reading in front of an audience, for example, I sometimes channel people's loved ones in front of an audience. And it can be that someone's father in spirit comes forward. And suddenly I'm tasting the taste of whiskey in my mouth, right? So it's my clairgustance, my psychic tasting that picks up on a drink that maybe he loved to drink occasionally when he was still alive. All right. And the last one is the clairalience, which is the psychic smelling. So it can also happen that when I pick up on someone's grandmother and she comes forward, suddenly there is this smell of Earl Grey tea. I have this with my grandmother. She's in spirit, and when she comes closer to me, I sometimes pick up on the smell of Earl Grey tea. But there's not any Earl Grey tea at the moment in my hand, or I'm not drinking it in that moment. It's my psychic ability to smell smells that spirit or other realms are showing me or giving me. Yeah. So psychic smelling is your ability to psychically pick up on any smells. So everybody has these 6 psychic senses, even if you're completely unaware of them, even if you haven't experienced any of them ever. Everybody has these 6 psychic senses available. All right. So that leads me to number 4 that you should know about your psychic abilities is that you often will hear psychics say, "Oh, I'm a clairvoyant." And I say, no, you're not. You might have clairvoyance as the best developed psychic ability or the psychic sense of all the 6, but you have all 6 of them. You cannot be only clairvoyant, because you'll discover that also when maybe you are one moment in one of my masterclasses or programs around psychic abilities, is that every picture that you pick up on clairvoyantly holds a feeling that you can tune into with your clairsentience, holds a sound that you can tune into with your clairaudience. So when someone says, I'm clairvoyant, I usually feel within, no, you're not. You are also clairvoyant, but you're also clairsentient, you're also clairgustant, you're also clairalien, you're also all 6 of them you have within yourself. And yes, it is really normal that you have one of them developed more than the other. So for most of us, clairvoyance, the psychic seeing, and clairsentience are the 2 psychic senses that people have developed the strongest. But when you bring your curiosity to the other ones, you can train and develop all of them, all 6 of them. All right? Amazing. 5th one, energy speaks a language. And through your 6 psychic senses, you can learn to understand the language that energy speaks. So when you dive into a journey of developing your psychic abilities, and it doesn't matter where you are in that journey, but when you dive in the journey of developing your psychic abilities, it's like learning a new language. So in the beginning, you will be able to sense something and you connect the meaning to that. And it's like when you first make the first steps in learning a new language and you learn a new word. And then when you keep on studying and keep on practicing, you can form simple sentences. And as you continue even more and you study even more, maybe you can have a simple conversation. And usually it will take a few years of studying before you can speak it fluently and become like really eloquent in this language. And it's the same with your psychic abilities. And when you study mediumship, it will ask for your patience, and it will ask for this reminder that it's like learning a new language. So some of you, you might start this journey with your psychic abilities and you will feel it goes really, really smooth. You just have a natural affinity with this language, right? It's like some people, they know 5 or 6 languages and they can speak them all really well. And other people, they have a hard time studying even one language. But all of us have the ability to study languages. And it's the same with psychic abilities. Some of you will have a natural talent for it and pick it up really easily and very fast. And others will need to put in a bit more energy in order to get the basics mastered. Yeah. So energy speaks a language. And that leads me into number 6, is that everybody can develop these psychic abilities. Everybody can learn to speak the language that energy speaks, to understand the language that energy speaks. Everybody can do it, right? So over the last almost 10 years, I've been teaching this work, I've been studying this work, and I've never, ever met anyone who couldn't do this, who couldn't develop this. There's one example that I always give. There was a time where I would offer a course of psychic abilities for 3 evenings. And there was this one woman, and for the first 2 evenings, she was like, I don't really see anything. I think I cannot do this. And for the second evening, I was like, wow, maybe it is actually possible that someone doesn't know how to develop their psychic abilities. But then suddenly on the 3rd evening, as I kept inviting her to trust and trust that the moment will come where they reveal themselves. And suddenly on the 3rd evening, she got it. So everybody can develop their psychic abilities. Because on this 3rd evening, when she got it, I realized that when you've never experienced your psychic abilities before and you start training them, it's like needing to tune to the right radio channel. And when you hear this, like, and you keep searching for the right channel, and suddenly the music starts to play. It's the same with your psychic abilities, right? So everybody can develop this, also you. That takes me to number 7. It is not difficult to develop your psychic abilities. Sure, some might need to put in a bit more energy than others. Some might flow a bit more effortlessly through it than others, but it's not necessarily a new skill that we need to put inside of us. It's more a process of revealing an ability that is already naturally with you. Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's not difficult. It's not that you need to like learn a new skill, like driving the car, maybe. It's like something that you need to learn that you didn't know how to do before. But when it comes to your psychic abilities, it's a matter of recognizing an ability that is already naturally with you. That's why I love it so much. It's a natural part of who you are. Okay, number 8, what you should know about your psychic abilities is that there is a simple decision that you can make that will immediately start to develop your psychic abilities more. And that's the decision to trust what you are sensing, even if you think you are making it up. Now, why is this so important? It's very simple, but it's also one of the most difficult things because your psychic senses work through a channel that fantasy can also work through, that envisioning can also work through, right? And when time passes and you practice more and more, you will learn to distinguish fantasy, envisioning, and psychic information. But in the beginning, they can all mix up quite a bit, right? So instead of being like, oh, I don't know if I can trust what I'm sensing here, maybe I'm making it up, and kind of like getting contracted around it, is what closes down the channel of your intuition. But when you say, hey, I am deciding now to trust whatever I'm sensing. I don't care if I think I'm making it up. I'm really gonna like give it the full space for me to trust it, even if I think I'm making it up, is what actually helps to open the channel of your intuition. It's what actually will help for more information to come in and to flow through. And that will be so helpful in the development of these abilities. So deciding to trust what you sense helps to open your channel. And then also will help you to learn to distinguish between what is psychic information coming in, what is fantasy, what is envisioning, and all those layers and refinements of that. The ninth one is that there are important ethics around the use of your psychic abilities. And this, for me, is a big, big part of what I stand for and how I teach. I've experienced too many times. Even yesterday, I saw a post of a woman that was in the process of getting a divorce because a psychic told her husband that she was draining the relationship. And if he wants to be successful in his career, he needs to get a divorce. This type of communicating is not okay. Not okay. There are important ethics around the use of your psychic abilities. One of them is don't predict the future for people. Don't predict the future because the future is only a possible timeline in the here and now. When we as human beings make a different decision tomorrow, there is a whole new timeline that connects to that. So predicting the future is possible. However, it's only a possible timeline. And it means timelines can always change and shift. So I teach in a way that you never do fortune telling. Rather, you support someone with how you can support someone with their challenges here, right now. Yeah. Another way that is very important around the ethics of your psychic abilities, never give somebody advice that is not asking for it. I've also seen this happen too many times where I'm in a conversation with someone and suddenly this person says, oh, I really sense this and this with you. I think you should do this and this and this. Ugh. My hairs always go up from this type of communication. And I believe that when you sense something with someone, that it's really, really polite and necessary to first check in with them and say, hey, I notice I'm sensing something. Are you open for me to share it with you? If someone then says no, then you let it go. If someone then says yes, you can share it. And not only that, the person will actually have so much more ability to receive what you are saying. Right? I mean, it's the same with giving advice. When someone gives you advice without asking permission, you don't really want it, right? So it's the same with your psychic abilities and the things that you pick up on that. There are important ethics. One of them, no fortune telling. Sure, you can tap into someone's potential, but always communicating it as a potential. When it's disastrous news, like this and this is going to happen, that is really bad, or you need to get a divorce or whatever, we are not here to make decisions for the people that we love or the people that we live or the people that we work with. Everybody's very capable of making their own decisions, and sure, we can help them make decisions that feel the most aligned for them, but we are not going to tell them what to decide. All right. So these ethics, asking before sharing, if it's an advice or something that you sense, and like disastrous news, better keep it with you and work on how you can support someone in the here and now. All right. Many, many things. So just briefly to repeat them all. Number one, know that you are a deeply intuitive being. Number two, it is normal to feel energies and emotions from other people's or other realms. Number three, you have 6 psychic senses: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, clairalience, and clairgustance. Number 4, you are not only clairvoyant. If you think you are wrong. You have all 60 psychic senses available within you. Maybe some more developed than others. That's okay. Number 5, energy speaks a language that you can learn to understand, and it's very similar to learning any other language that we have here in the world. Number 6, everybody can develop their psychic abilities. Everybody, no exceptions. Number 7, it's not difficult to develop your psychic abilities because it's an ability that you already carry within. So it's more a process of unraveling or revealing what is already naturally there. Number 8, one thing that will help your channel of your psychic abilities to open is deciding to trust what you are sensing, even if you think you are making it up. Number 9, there are important ethics around the use of your psychic abilities, right? One of them is asking for permission before you share your messages, and be very, very careful and don't do any fortune telling because it takes away someone's personal responsibility. Number 10 is if you want to start deepening with your psychic abilities already now, I will be offering on Tuesday, the 28th of March, a 75-minute free masterclass called 5 Secrets to Trusting Your Intuitive Gifts and Psychic Abilities. It's a beautiful masterclass in which I will guide you in a meeting with your spirit guides and loved ones in spirit, and you will have direct experience with your psychic abilities and the spirit world. There is a whole lot of other beautiful things that we dive into in this 75-minute masterclass. I warmly welcome you to come and join. The main intention is that you can shift from this feeling of, am I making this up? How does this really work, my psychic abilities? To a deep trust in your intuitive gifts. So I would love to see you there on the 28th of March. You can find the link below this episode, and see you there or see you in next week's episode. Sending you much, much love. Did you receive any inspiration, motivation, or powerful breakthroughs by listening to this episode? Then please share this episode by taking a screenshot and tagging me in your stories at nicole.nima.costeres. I would love to celebrate you, share you in my stories, and it would mean so much to have my work reach more powerful, passionate women like you. Thank you so much, and looking forward to see you next week.